Hello everyone, hello everybody. This is Mita speaking. It's Mita, your astrology journalist, because I break the news before the news even happen. And we are about relationships. We are also about legal conflicts because then it involves relationships, but on a negative point of view. So this is one of those cases. And Tyler Perry, the billionaire coming from Hollywood, has been sued by his employee or ex-employee at this point for SA. And we want to see it from an astrology point of view. And of course, because I don't have Derek Dixon, the alleged victim at this point, I don't have his chart. So I am only relying on Tyler Perry's chart and what it says regarding this case in particular. So let's get into the detail. I am using sidereal, and I must say that maybe at some point my voice will give out, and so expect that. I also have him as a Virgo ascendant. Remember, again, I'm using sidereal, and what I've noticed with Virgo ascendant, there's always going to be a work-related identification regarding them. So it's either they are workaholics, they are known to be workaholics, or either they give jobs, as it is the case for Tyler Perry. He's known for giving jobs to a whole lot of Afro actors and actresses in the Hollywood sphere, right? On my live yesterday or 2 days back, I mentioned that Tyler Perry is a billionaire and he's got a get to in the second house. I actually made a mistake because I was looking at is it Warren Buffett at the time, and actually he's got his Ketu in the 12th house of losses and investments in spirituality. But he's what? He is a billionaire because Ketu has that ability to give you material things regardless. And particularly in his case, his Ketu is with Sun, which is also empowered and they are empowered in the Leo sign, which is co-ruled by both of them. So they are co-ruling the sign and they are making sure that he's a billionaire. Now, I also made another video whereby I was warning the Virgo or Leo people, Virgo from the tropical point of view and Leo from the sidereal, of what would be happening with this transit of Ketu. So he's basically having now both the transiting Ketu and his natal Ketu attached or conjunct with his natal sun. And as with these degrees, everything that I said would happen is exactly happening right now. So I'm going to link that video below so that if you have any Virgo from a tropical point of view or Leo planet right now, you can see what will be happening to you, because when I predict, I say things before they even happen, right? So let's get into his planetary placements, because there's an interesting thing that I would like us to see. He's got his Venus in Cancer in the 11th house at 25 degrees. And this is important for us because this is a case related to SA and to love, relationships, interest towards intimacy and all of that. So definitely we want to see the condition of his Venus. It is in Cancer, we do know. So it is comfortable in terms of convenience, receiving conveniences, leadership, having access to resources, being able to be good at resource management, and having access to buy and purchase and own land and properties, because we must remember Cancer sign is about these things: property, land, resources, and he's got Venus making him have those in multitudes and multitudes, right? And however, because of this nakshatra of Ashlisha, we are finding that, his charisma and, silent power, mastery is now turned into an energy of manipulation. With this Ashlisha, this Venus can be very manipulative, can be using power of status to gain things in an unethical way, or to rule over people in an unethical way. It does also use resources to manipulate people or to manipulate situations around. So this Venus becomes this. So, when I always say that a whole lot of people just think of Venus as, an angel. No, it can be dark, and it does have dark sides. And this is one of those ways that we can see how a Venus can be very dangerous. Now, also having some suspicions. Oh my gosh, here this Venus at this 25-degree Ashleisha nakshatra Cancer sign, very advanced in power games. That this is a person who would change the atmosphere by just manipulating resources around, moving one piece to here, the other piece to there, but everything is done in a very slight way. So they also, people like this with this Venus, they also use emotional leverage. Like they can also use fear, they can also use guilt, to isolate and manipulate whatever they want. And once they have their eye, zoomed in on their target, it's difficult for them to let go, as we can see in this alleged case regarding to this legal complaint. And there's a lot of jealousy, power games, as I already said, resentment. My gosh, this Venus here can be very resentful, so watch out for these things. So, on a good term, it can create a partner that is very loyal, who is protective as well, not just protecting the relationship, but they will protect themselves, so they come first and then you come after. All right, so as I said, there is a silent power, like it's not loud, this Venus in the Cancer. So basically this is how he approaches relationships, this is how he is even in things dealing with arts, because we do know that he's in the art industry, and it is in the 11th house of organizations, big societies, and it is facing the house of cinema, where he really does his own thing, right? The 5th house. So basically that is very important to see. Now he's got a vertex in his 9th house, and as I always say, vertex is that breaking point that will change things around, and for him it is the legal matters. And as we do know, the 9th house is not only for travel, foreign things, but also the high law, the high policies, the high legislation. And for him, he's being hit by that. His life is being changed by a legal related or a law related issue, right? Having a bad publicity. But he is having a bad publicity in any case, because he's got his Lilith in his 10th house. Remember, I made a video about said Guru, and he also has his own Lilith in the 10th house. So people with Lilith in the 10th house, they can have the best exposure, but at the same time it will be tainted. They will have a tainted public status, a tainted public image, scandals, controversies that follow them for the rest of their lives. So now he does have Mars in the 4th house, and of course with Mars in the 4th house, access to land, access to property, access to buildings, and all of these things. And of course we do know he has studios, and because of this Mars as well, even with that Venus actually in the Cancer, it opens doors to military grounds, and he bought a military base to have his studios, because the planets never lie. Now his Mars is in Sagittarius, meaning that he would have either properties as well in different countries, or homes in different countries or in different states, but far away from where he is now. When I look now at his fortune, because we must look at his fortune, because this is what is being challenged right now. $260 is being demanded by his alleged victim, Derek Dixon. And he's got his fortune in the 2nd house of money, of bank, of wealth. And of course he's wealthy, he's billionaire, because he's got his fortune right there, right? And it's in Libra, meaning that, it is really, really nice in a Venus sign. Now, with this candle, I am seeing this transiting of Chiron in the 8th house. In the 8th house, opposite that fortune there. Chiron is about wounding. Chiron is about, bringing out pain. It can heal as well, but it also wounds. Now it is with Saturn, his natal Saturn, showing that the wounding is relating to work, profession, public status, because that's what Saturn is all about. And, being unethical and being not fair, not just. Why? Usually Saturn is about justice and being fair, but this one, it is retrograde, meaning that it breaks the rules. It doesn't follow the rules. So then Chiron is coming here now to hurt him from that angle of that profession and the things that he's done. And remember, Saturn is all about our deeds, our karma, and it's being hurt by the Chiron. And also his fortune is being challenged in the 2nd house. What does this mean? It does mean that both his career or profession and public status will be hurt, will be harmed by this case, and also many other cases thereafter, because Chiron takes a long time to move. So it means that this is not the first case or the first humiliation or hurt concerning his career, because it's in the 8th house. What is 8th house about? About abuse, about sexual taboos, about things that we're trying to hide, our secrets. It was also about inheritances, and money of other people. So Chiron here being here for such a long time, it is going to keep hurting that Saturn of his here. And so yeah, we could expect more cases to come here for sure, because it's in Aries, and because it's in Aries and he's a Virgo ascendant, for sure he's going to feel it, because an Aries sign to the Virgo sign is not friendly at all. Now it is going obviously to eat off his fortune as well due to that opposition. So definitely more scandals, definitely more hurt, both bank wise and status or profession. But now he also has the transiting Jupiter in his 10th house, giving him some grace, but at the same time, because Jupiter wants to teach every Mercury owned sign some lessons, so it could be covering him, giving him grace, but many things will have to happen that will make him learn. So the more he learns, then the more effective the Jupiter is. But then the more he resists and he goes the other way, then the Jupiter will let the lesson come into life, because Jupiter is not protective of Mercurian signs, Gemini and Virgo, because it wants them to grow up, to mature, to learn the lesson. So it's up to him, the more he he learns, the better things go. However, I do expect that from January 2nd, 2026, things will hit up and there will be more scandals and there will be more hurt coming to his profession. I see male figures coming up from the January 2nd, 2026. And scandals being spoken about because this is a Gemini sign when it comes to his public image. So things will hit up, and this cycle of being exposed, being heard in terms of status, profession, is going to show up more often now. Why now? Actually, he's got his progressing Mars conjunct with that vertex again that I talked about. And also the Uranus that is transiting the Taurus sign. Things are happening so suddenly. Yes, the case started or was filed last year, but they're going to roll out so quickly now because of the Uranus. So things are just going to come out so quickly out of nowhere for him, and he's not going to be expecting it, because there's the progressing Mars over his vertex and the Uranus at the same time. Now he's got his progressing Ketu again in the 8th house, conjunct his natal Saturn. Goodness gracious gosh. And it just started when? Last month. It just started last month. The Ketu and Saturn do not go along at all together. Ketu will want to separate you from your job, change your status, bring some change, cut or whatever, distance you from your profession, from what you're known of. And Ketu just entered in progression last month when it comes to his Saturn, and voila, we're having all of this, and it's going to continue for some time. As I said, January 2nd, things are going to hit up fire everywhere when it comes to his status and jobs. I mean, he's always gonna probably have money. He's a billionaire. I mean, how much money can you take from a billionaire to make them feel it, right? Not much. But when it comes to the status now, this is where he is going to feel that happening again. He's got the transiting Saturn at Neptune in his 7th house. What is it all about? It's about relationships and other people, and this is stemming from a work relationship. Why? Because Saturn again is about work, and they are conjunct with his natal Chiron, wounding both sides, transit or natal. Saturn both sides, transit and natal, just every angle. The profession, the status is being hurt and hit. All right, so now obviously he's got the progressing Rahu in his 2nd house. Rahu is actually good for Virgo and for Virgo signs, Libra signs, so for his money he's going to lose it, but at the same time he's going to find ways, maneuver, because Rahu is a planet that maneuvers things, changes things around, puts some magic here, right? And he will try to obviously not lose as much money as possible. With his Rahu, he's going to be able to negotiate, to influence. We're going to hear him speak a lot now, saying things to convince people, to be on his side, and he's going to be so convincing because Rahu is a magician. He's going to be believable. He's going to be influential with his speech now. This is where he's going to make it. Except, of course, when there's a transiting sun coming here, oh la la, things are not going to be so great. So this is going to be around December. As I said, January, there is going to be another huge hit again on his status and profession. Now, as I said, I did not say actually, everything is alleged here from the get-go until the end of this video. I am using astrology to listen to what they're saying, and then I translate that for everybody else. Now he's got his progressing Venus right now at this moment, transiting his fifth house of what? Of cinema, right? In the Capricorn sign profession, right? But it is with the transiting Pluto, having him transform through relationships, because Venus is about that, having a transformational experience through relationships, through work, because Capricorn is work again, profession, status, and it's all forced, because Pluto will make you transform whether you want to or not. And the transformation is going to be hard, and you will feel like you're going through fire to come out of that, but you have to go through that fire. So he is going through that, and because of what? Relationships, Venus there, transiting there. And fifth house is about romance, is about intimacy, it's about flirting. These alleged texts, they allege abusive flirting, abusive intimacy approach, because it's an intimacy in the sign of intimacy. But of course Pluto is also about abuse. Now, because it's the co-ruler of the 8th house, we must always remember this, right? So it doesn't change anything. He does have his progressing Saturn in his 6th house. 6th house is about what? About our work schedule, what we do daily, about our health as well. So here, in terms of this could be his saving grace more than the Jupiter, because as I said, Jupiter is not really protective over certain signs like Virgo. So that Jupiter in his 10th house, it could actually be amplifying that hurt and controversies, just making controversies a lot. Why? Because it wants him to learn. But then the Saturn in his 6th house, this is where he could be finding his saving grace. And this saving grace of Saturn is, but then remember, when it comes to Saturn is about just, it doesn't matter if you are his friend or you're not his friend. If you were not just, it is going to give you the punishment. If you were just, it is going to free you. So here, with the Saturn here, if he's innocent, he's definitely going to be protected for sure. And all of these multiple cases that are going to keep coming up, they're gonna go away, because Saturn is about justice, the true form of justice. Now remember, I'm not talking about his natal Saturn, because his natal Saturn is retrograde, meaning that he does not follow the rules, but then his progressing Saturn is the one that is holding things down in terms of his work and daily routines and all of these things. And it is with his natal Rahu supporting it, right? And in the Multicon sign of Aquarius. So it's clear here, if he's guilty, things will just fall apart. If he's innocent, he will come out of it. But as I said, he's got that transiting Rahu in the 2nd house, so he's able to maneuver himself around, with the speech, and also with some money, because as I said, Rahu is going to find a way or a solution, particularly when it comes to money, speech, and all of this. This is going to be a Rahu playing politics. Lots and lots of politics are going to be played here around this thing. Now I do see that next year, so January, he's facing all of those things from January. My gosh, yeah, he's just going to be following there's just going to be lots of scandals coming up. There's going to be lots of scandals. There's going to be lots of controversies for some time for him. This is just in his chart in all angles. I can see it from all angles. I do see that when it comes to his Jupiter, the progressing one now, not the transiting one, it is also in that 6th house. Again, hence, he's having these problems, and the progressing Jupiter actually just got in like 2 years ago. Whoa! So 2 years ago, just a little bit of 3 years ago. So 2.5 years ago, things would have started to shift in his life when it comes to his work. People would have started to talk or try to set up, these legal cases. It started from 2.5 years ago already. We only hearing about it now, but from the progressions here, I can see it already started shifting about 2.5 years ago. Whoa, boom. That is like a boom. And I did say he's got that Ketu transiting the 12th house conjunct with his Ketu and with Sun. As I say, when Ketu is with Sun, there will be an embarrassment. You can't run away from it. I have proven it so many times. You will be embarrassed. You will be shamed. You will be accused. You will have to face some public situation. That is what I can stand for. My research shows it, practical cases show it, and again it's showing it now with him. Whoa, right. So having gone through all of this, all I can say is that Mr. Perry, all the best. Mr. Derek Dixon, all the best. And of course, certain will make sure whoever is, on the right side is protected here and justice is served, because certain is not a friend to anyone, but is the friend of the truth, the friend of justice. And we reap what we sow. That's how it is. We reap what we sow. So I will chat to you soon. Do check out my website for astrological news and services, because I am, one of the best people to do predictions on this YouTube platform, right? We have a lot of commentators, astrology commentators, but I am your person to go to when you want to know precise predictions about what will happen to your life and when. No competition, no competition, no competition. I'll chat to you soon. Abinto and ciao.